case of a draw, black is rewarded the full point. That's why it's called Armageddon or sudden death, and the increment only starts from move 61. How do you see, one more time, this matchup, and will it be e4 or d4 that you predict, Judith?
I think it should be not e4.
I also think d4. Yes, d4 will manage to guess one move.
Yeah, I think it's kind of logical to deviate from the classical games preparation, which actually we've seen in most of the games that they are actually following the same idea what they played in the classical game, but I think it was very smart to deviate for Wesley. So, and we are witnessing Grunfild, O theory, Queen d2, and now the question is if, I think c5, is he going to do Knight c6? So we are going to have a complicated game. So far the players are playing very fast. Wesley So is very focused. Long castle, f5.
And e5 by Wesley, f4, the pawn is going forward.
This is a very complicated game. It's definitely for 3 results. I mean, white can get in trouble just as well as black can get in trouble. But we'll see if, well, I don't know if f4 is so common in this position.
I've only found 2 games in the database from this year and last year, so it's a very new move, must be an engine-like preparation.
Well, of course, white did not take the risk of taking it on f4, but he played bishop f2, and we are going to witness, I'm pretty sure, that h4, h5 will be part of this game at some point.
And black is attacking on the queen side, knight b4, also keeping an eye on the d5 square.
Yeah, this is a very important square from black side, and actually after having f4, having his knight on d5 later on and black bishop on f5, it can be a very good position for black. But really look at Wesley, he's holding his head in his 2 hands, extremely focused, and the piece sacrifice appeared on the board. Very relaxed movement by Magnus.
Wow.
Just making a5, that here is my knight, take it if you want. I don't care about that. Be brave and grab my knight, it will be fine for me. I don't really care about that one. If white is going knight b1, I believe maybe black just wants to go positional sacrifice, defending the b4 pawn. He wants to go rook a1, bishop f5. So for the moment, it seems that Magnus is quite relaxed about his game.
Wesley does not take the piece.
And we see h4.
A takes b4 would have been the test, the real test to this piece sacrifice. We have seen long-term pawn sacrifices by Magnus Carlsen, possibly inspired by AlphaZero. Long-term piece sacrifices by AlphaZero can also be an inspiration, but more difficult to actually pull out.
They are playing also a psychological game. Like if Magnus sacrifices a pawn, you don't want to take it because then things are going on the way he wants it. If he sacrifices a knight, you don't take it because you want him to not to get the game he wants, even though objectively I don't know what it is, but it's just a lot of psychology on the decisions, on the opening choice, also not to accept the sacrifice piece. And here, of course, white has this choice, the opportunity to bring his knight. Now he's attacking the pawn on f4. He's also thinking to play knight g5, h5, so he wants to really attack very heavily.
Knight a2 check to trade that c3 knight. Interesting maneuvers by Magnus Carlsen.
Well, I believe that it's going to be taken with the white pieces, takes on a2. And now the question is whether bishop d3, the d4 pawn is hanging. So probably white would be going h5, but black, I'm pretty sure he will want to play something like c5. And we have this on the board. For the moment, I'm not sure I would be a big fan of knight f4 because bishop h6. Though it is possible that white is actually, but d5.
d5 instead, d5. Dynamic approach by Wesley.
I can completely understand the idea to get rid of this pawn, because if bishop d5, then white would be taking on b6, and the bishop on d5 is under attack. And this is something that for sure Magnus is not so happy with. Look at his face also. He's surprised.
The surprise.
Like, really, is this a real move?
Well, the bishop is stuck on a2 if he doesn't take.
Yeah, but the question is whether queen d5 is why is not possible.
And Magnus says it's possible.
Actually, I think this was kind of exaggeration by Wesley. Maybe he was thinking that black has to take with either that he must take with the knight, and then he would have some real counter chances and compensation. But after queen d5, I mean, I'm not sure that this is exactly what Wesley so wanted to have.
So the surprise expression on Magnus's face was because he considers this a bad move.
And it's so interesting that if you look at it, White is also playing so fast. And we witnessed it in other Armageddon games as well, that simply White wants to play so fast. But if you make a bad move and a bad sacrifice, and then you start thinking afterwards, it's not necessarily best strategy. It was too much to give this pawn actually, because it's not only the d5 pawn, but also the e5 is under attack. So I think queen d5 was just missed out of the vision of Wesley, to be honest.
Well, in that case, this is a very unpleasant chess blindness. Not as much of a chess blindness as bishop to h6 in Grishuk's game, but certainly he missed queen takes d5, and now he starts thinking, too late. It's too late.
Yeah, because after queen d5, black is taking knight takes d5, and the bishop for the moment is defending the knight, and it's completely safe. It can go to b3 possibly, black can go a4 and stabilize the situation. So actually White is having a difficult situation, very strange.
Magnus pulling faces.
What expressions he's giving to us.
I wonder what Wesley will come up with, but certainly it does seem that Magnus has more than the full control of this game now. It's a pawn that he has collected on d5, and he's got the initiative on the queen side as well.
Well, now Wesley has to take care of his other pawn. That's
d5 pawn, his king on c1, the c file is open, the bishop on a2 takes away the b1 square. This is just looking terrible.
No, actually the players are simply not playing the game as if they really have 10 minutes. They are playing the game as if it would be a 5-4 game.
Because there's no increment and they may freak out that they need to speed up.
Yeah, and well, of course, here it's not an easy story.
Queen
and
takes
actually,
d5.
yeah.
Well, at least the king of c1 will feel somewhat
And rook
safer.
e1. Rook e1. Well, this was, I think, still the best choice. You could do rook f5. Rook f5, of course. Black is attacking the e5 pawn.
Yep.
And, well, it's a very sad story for White, to be honest. Because if White has to push the pawn to e6, then the bishop is opening up on the long diagonal, so... And White is giving up his other pawn. Bishop d3, rook e5. Now black has 2 pawns up. And of course Wesley will be playing and fighting. Takes, he went h5, but this is not at all what he wanted when he played d4. I think the opening choice was quite reasonable, quite good. But
f3 Grunfild, like in
Magnus is keep taking the pawns. This is the third pawn which is taken by Wesley in the last 4 moves. He took, or 5 moves, he took 3 of the sacrifice pawn by Wesley.
Well, from a piece sacrifice, he ended up collecting pawns, and it's 3 pawns up.
Well, of course, Magnus is extremely sure of himself. He just played knight f6, defending actually both pawns at the same time, h5 and h7. Okay, so there is a small surprise for Magnus that knight h7 was taken. Actually, it's a good move, but it's not going to be enough. Black is, I don't think he's going to be playing knight h7. And after rook h5, both pieces are under attack. So I believe that after knight h7, black will be just going rook d8.
And so he did go rook d8.
Actually, he did go rook d8, attacking the bishop on d3. And actually, if White will be moving away with his bishop at some day, then even bishop b2 will be possible. For example, knight takes. If White would be moving to e4, bishop b2 is possible, because rook d2 and grabbing back the bishop, the sacrificed bishop on b2. So after rook d8, I wonder how Wesley wants to try his chances here.
The bishop went back to f7
C2
and then knight g5.
and knight g5. Bishop d4. Yeah, if white wants to try to get the pin, black is just playing c5. So
Yeah,
black
there's no c or e pawn for white to
black has 2
attack.
pawns up, so there is not much white can do. And
Bishop b1 to keep the bishop on the board, but with the d4 bishop still on the board, it's a monster piece, and a couple of pawns up for Magnus. It's a very sad story for Wesley.
But what happened?
Bishop e1, b6. Is there?
I think maybe this camera is not the actual position.
I think
Yeah.
our camera in the right corner got stuck. Hopefully it will catch up with the players. It is now catching up. Yeah, the players are faster than the camera as well.
Yeah, you can see that, of course, Wesley gave up on his chances already. As
He's trading everything now. And takes on h5. Another rook and opposite colored bishop endgame.
but black has 2 pawns up.
2
and-
pawns up and draw odds. So he doesn't even have to win.
But knowing Magnus, he will.
King e5. Rook h5 check.
Well, maybe he will go. No,
King
no, he can't go
d6.
back. He just cannot.
It's Magnus. Rook h6 check. King e5.
I don't know. Maybe
Will
he does.
he repeat moves? King d6. The draw is. And the draw.
Yeah.
Magnus Carlsen makes a draw, but this is the full point. It's a bit surprising to us that he didn't try a bit more.
No, because he's not so obviously winning.
Yeah.
It's like, of course, he just wants to score.
Yeah, and he knows that the rules will reward him the same point, the same full point. That is 1.5 points for Magnus Carlsen for today's achievement, half a point for Wesley. So, and that means a sole lead for the world champion with 2 more rounds to go.